Center, and one of the marquee matchups in the Big East in recent years. It's the defending conference champion Xavier and the defending national champion Villanova meeting up for the first time this season. And after a bit of a bumpy start to the year, Villanova is 4-0 in conference play with a few come-from-behind wins to get their conference season started. And Xavier at 3-2 in the first season under Travis Steele. Welcome courtside. Joe Davis with Len Elmore. And we mentioned the special things these teams accomplished last year, but both lost a lot, and both have kind of felt their way into the season trying to learn themselves.
Well, they're essentially two different teams. Xavier obviously lost their 4 top scorers and their head coach. And first-year head coach Travis Steele putting his imprimatur on this team. They're big, they're physical, and they get to the line. And Jay Wright, his team is starting to learn, this young team. They're pulling it together. And with the seniors, Eric Paschal and Phil Booth, these guys are starting to lead the way.
Starting lineups for this one brought to you by Jeep Grand Cherokee. Xavier has 5 players averaging in double figures, led by Paul Scruggs, who went off for 23 in their game on Sunday against Butler. And Villanova is a kind of revolving door as far as the starting 5 goes. This is the same 5 they had on the win against Creighton over the weekend. Well, not in the starting lineup, but available tonight, their usual starting point guard for the Musketeers, Quentin Gooden, who has missed the last 2 games with a knee injury. Both those games wins for Xavier as they try to get their 3rd in a row tonight and try to get their first win over a ranked opponent this season against Villanova, going for their 6th consecutive win. What we got?
Shot clock didn't start.
It fell asleep waiting for the game to start. Well, now we're ready to go. The Xavier team, like you mentioned, lost its head coach in Chris Mack, lost 5 key players from last year, including 4 of its top 6 scorers. And at 11-7 here in the first season under Travis Steele.
Xavier's going to play deliberately. Obviously, they've got some size that they want to be able to exploit.
This is their leading scorer, Paul Scruggs. His miss is cleared by Hankins. And on the 3rd opportunity, they cash in.
And the size is not necessarily up front, even in the backcourt between Paul Scruggs and when you take a look at Najee Marshall. Those 2 guys have excellent size and length. Expect them to give the guards for Villanova some problems.
Wildcats coming off a come-from-behind win against Creighton, where they went off for 52 points in the second half after trailing that game by 9. Booth and Paschal, 2 guys that have led them this year, connecting here. And with the shot clock winding down, it'll have to be Booth. He got it off, but an air ball. We mentioned Travis Steele in his first season as the head coach of the Musketeers. 37 years old, took over for Chris Mack, kind of worked his way up the ladder, and it paid off for him.
Yeah, he's pretty much been a lifer at Xavier.
Right.
And again, you got to make this team your team, and Travis Steele has been able to do that thus far. 11-7, 3-2 in the Big East.
Here's Tyreek Jones. It's been key for Xavier. When he's played well, typically Xavier's come out on the right end.
They expect, as we saw, a lot of post-ups, trying to establish some mismatches with the size Xavier has up front. And Villanova's got to make some penetration to the basket right there.
It's a foul on Paul Scruggs. So you got a brand new coach on one sideline, and on the other side, the longest tenured coach in the Big East. Can you believe it's been 18 years for Jay Wright at Villanova?
We've aged, but Jay hasn't, that's for sure. Again, some penetration by Villanova, because that's where their advantage is, their quickness and mobility.
Out of the corner, it's Gillespie. Went off for 4 threes against Creighton, and he buries his first tonight.
Well, whether it's off the bounce or through the pass, Villanova's so good at playing inside out.
That's a foul on Paschal.
Really, Jermaine Samuels has a layup right there with his strength, but decides to kick it back outside to a high percentage shooter. And Colin Gillespie, 42% from, I'm sorry, 37% from beyond the arc, nails it. And that's the way Villanova will play, but I suspect they won't pass up too many layups.
Hit 12 threes against Creighton. Inside they go to Jones, able to reverse it up and in. And I mean, just ask Xavier, right? Last year they go 15-3 in the conference. 2 of those 3 losses, blowouts against Villanova, where Nova hit 28 threes in those 2 games.
Well, Villanova is known to be a three-point shooting team. 52% of their field goal attempts are from 3. And about 40% of their makes.
Gillespie again.
Nova's going to do that 10 threes a game.
Hankins and the foul. Division II National Player of the Year last year at Ferris State. Won a national championship there and transferred to the Big East for his final season.
And he leads the Big East in field goal percentage at almost 71%, and this is why. Does a terrific job going strong. He was about to dunk the ball, but when the defender came along, kept it in his left hand and laid it off the glass nicely, drew the foul. It's pretty good basketball there.
You talked a little bit about the size and Xavier maybe having an advantage inside. They've had 4 possessions so far and have gone inside on all 4.
Yeah, I mean, you have to play to your strength, no question about it. And Xavier not having very much success with Villanova over the last 11 games. 1 and 10. They got to find a way to break that spell.
Hankins bricks the free throw, tied at 6 here in the early going. Here's Gillespie running the point around a Samuel screen. And now Paschal. Paschal and Booth both better than 20 points per game in Big East play. The question has kind of been, where else do they get the scoring? So far tonight, it's been all a third source, Colin Gillespie. Here's Paschal, rises and gets blocked by Jones. Underneath, it's Tyreek Jones over the top, and again they go inside and retake the lead.
And it's not just the size, but it's the effort that Xavier's making to get the ball inside. Tyreek Jones, he's dropped some pounds. It's made him quicker. Being more svelte has given him more stamina, staying in the game and staying out of foul trouble.
I don't know if you heard, but his mom, Winnie, is here tonight. Drove down from Connecticut. Typically, he plays really well when Winnie's here. Sandals gets loose underneath for his first 2.
That's a page out of Xavier's book. Good ball movement, finding somebody open down low. The name of this game, we don't care what the analysts say, the sabermetricians or whomever. Analytics tells you that the good shots are from 3, but you got to be able to go inside before you get the good looks outside.
Najee Marshall hard to the rim, but it wouldn't go. And the under 16 timeout. Tied at 8 as Xavier and Villanova meet up for the first time, and a heavy dose of inside game from Xavier so far. Villanova with a dunk from Samuels has it locked at 8. Sponsored by Jeep Grand Cherokees, who welcome it back to South Philly. All tied up in the early going between Villanova and Xavier, who last year had a couple of highly anticipated matchups in this building on January 10th. Both top 10 teams, and Phil Booth went off for what was, at the time, a career-high 21 points. That included 5 3-pointers. Villanova cruised in that game. 89-65, and they do it again in Cincinnati later in the season. And Len, even in Xavier's best season, where they win the regular season title, they go 15-3, they get blown out twice by Villanova.
Well, I mean, obviously it's a matchup situation, and when you look at who Villanova had on the floor back in those days, you know, we talk about Eric Paschal and Phil Booth being the leaders of this team. They were role players on last year's team, you know, with Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, you know, Amari Spellman, among others. I mean, those guys, Dante DiVincenzo, all those guys are in the pros right now.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
That's amazing. Villanova has lost 4 guys in the top 33 picks of the draft, accounting for more than 70% of their scoring on that national championship team. So they're kind of feeling out their roles as they get into this season with this young group. Speaking of young, a freshman, Saddiq Bey out of the corner for 3.
Yeah, Saddiq Bey, 7 points against Creighton in their last game, 5 double-figure games. He's starting to come on. And again, Jay Wright is kind of spoon-feeding a lot of his young players, giving them more and more responsibility. And over the last 13 games, Villanova's been 11-2. Those guys have shown up.
Back inside they go. Tyreek Jones. How did that thing not go? Man,
I think there's
unkind to the big fella.
About 3 more people on this side of the rim kind of weighed it down.
Cosby Roundtree is limited to just 5 minutes at Creighton because of a sore leg. Off of the bench into the scoring column.
Yeah, Villanova.
Off of Jones.
Villanova finding guys, but right here, Xavier finds Tyreek Jones, who's having a pretty good night. And you take a look at just a little bit of the lean. But on the slip screen, Cosby Roundtree gets into the middle, and nobody from Xavier pays attention to him. And Travis Steele is up off the bench like a rocket.
7-0 run for Villanova. Gillespie's already hit 2 threes. This time he'll drive and get cut off by Scruggs.
Much better job of covering the slip screen.
This is what Villanova can do to you, Len. In a blink of an eye, it's a 10-0 run and a timeout for Xavier.
Well, that's what happens. You get a couple of guys in the paint, they score. Xavier now has to pay more attention to the slip screen. They tighten up down low, and it just gives just a step, just a little bit of daylight to knock down the 3. See the slip screen guys back up a little bit, trying to pay a little pack line. And that's all Phil Booth needs.
One of the most reliant teams in the country on the 3 ball. In fact, out of major conference teams, only Creighton and Purdue are more reliant on the 3. Is that a problem, or is that just who they are? Because, I mean, this is pretty much who they've been the last few seasons.
Yeah, I mean, that's your personality. However, again, we've seen it. You've got to balance it with some play in the paint in order to get the defense out of position. But that's really the name of this basketball game, particularly on offense. Get defenders out of position so you can get the shots that you want.
If you're Xavier, you got to be sitting here saying, I mean, tonight and in recent years, do these guys ever miss?
I mean, some of these guys for Xavier have had experience with Villanova, seeing the ball go through the bucket from beyond the arc far too often.
Glenn, here's Quentin Gooden, who's missed the last 2 games with a knee injury. 3-year starter at point guard. Back in the fold tonight. Interesting thing is that they won both games without him and did a very good job taking care of the ball. Here's Kyle Kaslan, way too strong. Falls into the hands of Jones, and then a foul on Primo.
Well, first of all, with Tyreek Jones, excellent job getting to the weak side glass. That corner of the glass, if you command that real estate, you're going to get your share of offensive rebounds. But, Joe, to your point about taking care of the ball, they only averaged 7 turnovers in the last 2 games, those 2 wins. Quentin Gooden was hurt during those games, and not to put the weight on his shoulders, but the prior 6, they averaged almost 16.5 turnovers.
That was almost a turnover from Gooden. Hankins is able to rip it down.
And sometimes it gets in your mind that you have to be extra careful with your best point guard on the bench, and maybe that's why they were so successful in holding on to it.
And there is a turnover on their first possession with Gooden in the game, and there's those numbers you're talking about.
Well, that's an amazing turnaround, particularly with your point guard, your starting point guard, who's second in the league in assists and has a 2-to-1 assist turnover average.
It's one of those numbers that just doesn't make sense. Dig in a little bit on it.
Xavier playing some zone right now, really trying to cover shooters, which they do pretty good job of. That length up front.
Gillespie short with a 3. Hankins wants it inside with a mismatch. The help comes. Hankins still able to finish.
Well, Hankins with that length, it's an easy pass to make over the fronting defender. Get it up in the air. Hankins with good hands, long reach, and he keeps the ball up in the air. Good fundamentals by the big fella.
There's 9 inches on the guy that was trying to front him, and Colin Gillespie. Here's the freshman point guard, Javon Quinterly, into the game for Villanova. Pascal with an air ball.
See, Villanova right now, they're getting tricked into taking those 3s against the zone instead of attacking that zone from inside.
Marshall's miss, cleared by Cosby Roundtree.
See, because Villanova's got such good shooters as they turn the ball over, Villanova's got such good shooters around the perimeter, it stretches the zone, and there's plenty of room inside to get it inside, make the zone contract. Then those shooters can step back when they get the receiving pass.
One of the differences we're seeing from Xavier this year is a little bit more zone than you typically saw under Chris Mack.
And that's what Travis told us before the game, that's one of the things that, you know, he'd like to put that stamp on his team, to be able to switch up the defense.
Hankins off to a heck of a start, reverses it in off of the feed from Gooden, and already 8 for the big fella.
Points in the paint for Xavier starting to mount up between Jones and Hankins.
All 12 of their points have come in the paint. They've got it back to 4.
See, look how much room they've got. The defense spread so much.
Joe Cremo trying to find room, and does. Nifty footwork for the grad transfer. Is the first grad transfer in Jay Wright's 18 seasons. Came from Albany, where he scored more than 1,400 points in his career. Hankins down the lane, and he's into double figures already.
And folks, that's what you call playing to your strengths. Xavier not exactly a marksman from beyond the arc, but they do well with their size in the half court. And right now, they're playing with their bigs very well.
Yeah, just completely different than that conference championship team last year, personality-wise, offensively, as Booth buries a triple. They had a lot of shooters last year. They don't have any this year. They got those big fellas and guys that are more drive-oriented. Hankins calling for it. They get it to him. And then back outside it goes to Gooden. Into the lane. Able to
today was the size of guys like Quentin Gooden against his freshman Javon Quinterly. Were they going to try and post him? And you saw an opportunity right there, not necessarily a post, but he just walked him into the lane. Quentin Gooden did.
He's well put together. I mean, it looks like a 3-year starter going against a freshman. Booth fires one up that's an air ball, and it winds up in Cremo's hands, in and out. 0 of 2 on that trip for Villanova. Scruggs penetrates, a spin, got it.
You just like the way and the efficiency Xavier's demonstrating, no question about it. And it all begins inside. This is where their bread is buttered. And they're putting a little jelly on it too. And Villanova obviously working their game as well. Beyond the arc, Phil Booth, the senior, stepping up.
Villanova 21-18, 10:09 left to go in this first half, and we go inside the huddle with Travis Steele.
Hey, it's 10 4-minute wars. Just play in that 4-minute war that you're in. There's going to be a game of runs. They went on a run. We went right back on one. Great response. Stay with it. They got no answer around the rim, fellas. None. Post-ups, drives, offensive glass. Be relentless. Be relentless in our approach.
All 18 points for Xavier have been in the paint so far, Len.
And they've really played to the strengths. Off of penetration, finding their bigs, who are doing a good job of moving without it. And there you see attacking the rim with aggression. And when they don't find their bigs, the size of the guards up front, it's hard to take advantage as well. But Villanova, on the other hand, a 10-0 run, particularly from beyond the arc. They're 5 of 10 from beyond the arc, playing to their strengths as well. As Travis Steele said, it's a game of runs. They got to continue to answer.
Both teams kind of doing what they do. Eric Paschal, by the way, is a product of Xavier pounding the ball inside, has already picked up 2 fouls. He's got it here in the middle of the zone. He's got Bay open in the corner, found him too late. He gets it back outside. Gillespie already with 2 threes tonight. That one went in and out. And so Paschal will give it a try. Rarely are you going to get away with 2 open looks against Villanova without one going down.
Boy, and both of those balls did everything but go down. But you see Villanova attacking the zone inside with Paschal. Back outside, giving Gillespie a great shot.
Marshall, no from 3. That is on the sideline. Last touch by Xavier.
Xavier comes back with another tall guard in Elias Harden, number 4. And they continue to rotate those guys with long arms and the size on the perimeter, really challenge Villanova's three-point shooting.
Ryan Welledge in as well. He's 6'10". Here's Cosby Roundtree with his second dunk tonight.
Villanova making a nice adjustment now. They're starting to realize that perimeter's covered by those long arms. And if they can spread that defense, they'll find some openings inside, which they have.
It's not something that they always do. 353 teams in the country, only 3 get a smaller percentage of their points from two-point range. A foul on Cosby Roundtree.
Just passing the ball around the perimeter. You know, good ball movement there. Everybody has to step up, and you saw Hankins switch out, and that left an opening for Cosby Roundtree, and good delivery by Connor Gillespie.
So Jay Wright knew need to play well for them tonight against Xavier's size. Well, he got a couple buckets. Here's Welledge, 0 for 7 from 3 in their last game. And he's got to be able to hit from out there. That's what he does. Booth, a nice move. Then he had a tap from behind and stolen away. Marshall leaves it off for Hankins, who's got 2 more and already a dozen.
How savvy was that? Najee Marshall did an excellent job of drawing the defender to him. And the big fellas, I said, the big guys, whether it's Hankins or Tariq Jones, they've done a terrific job of getting themselves in position, making themselves available.
Sadiq Bey, an air ball. Cosby Roundtree there on the weak side. Finds an open Pascal, who's got his first points of the night.
Cosby Roundtree with another year of experience. That time just totally under control. Waited for the defense to establish themselves and took what they gave them.
Good thought about it from outside. Instead drives. That won't go. Pascal climbs the ladder to get it. Booth with a no-look. Cosby Roundtree and 1.
Same mistakes. Xavier's playing. They get spread out. High screen slips the screen. And nobody steps in the cover. Got to figure it out, folks. If you're Xavier, get back.
Villanova by 8. We take a look at the playbook, sponsored by Lexus.
Well, the idea is to keep an eye on Zach Hankins at the top, number 35, the big fella. You see Cosby Roundtree slip the screen that supposedly comes, and Hankins stays to try to help. Cosby Roundtree gets to the middle. Everybody else goes to their men, leaving Hankins naked. And Cosby Roundtree with the layup dresses him up nicely.
And Amir Cosby Roundtree already landed 6 minutes, 6 points, and 4 rebounds.
And that play has been run over and over again by Villanova. And only once has Xavier really gotten to the point where they could thwart that play, get a hand on the ball, or get in front of the shooter. The other 3 or 4 times, Villanova's been very successful. I'm sure that timeout had a lot to do with a remedial course on how to cover the best bucket.
And don't let Travis Steele's youthful appearance fool you. He can get after you. He's not afraid to light a fire. As the Roundtree finishes off a 3-point play.
You know, spending so much time in his assistant, sometimes you got to bite your tongue, and you know, you put your arm around the guys after the head coach has screamed at him, and now it's his turn.
Right, 10 years of being good cop, and now he's bad cop.
You got it.
Working against the zone. In the middle of it, Marshall. Into the corner, Harden. Way too strong. Pace unable to track it down. Shot clock didn't reset. Xavier realizes it. Gooden will fire. Off the heel. time Primo able to clear.
Yeah, long shot, long rebound. Nice job by Primo to come back and hit the glass.
Bill Booth with a mismatch. Goes by Jones. Couldn't hit. Harden tries it again. Around and out. Jones there for the offensive rebound. Back up in traffic. No. Tervano wouldn't go. And finally pulled out by Villanova. So an 0 for 2 on back-to-back possessions for the Musketeers.
Boy, tough luck for Xavier. They had the board covered. Got second and third chance opportunities, and the ball just rolling off that rim.
We've seen on both sides those rims, as our friend Tim Brando would say, uncommon. Primo around the screen, defended by Caslin. A couple grad transfers head-to-head with a shot clock winding down. Primo leaves it short.
Excellent defense by Caslin. Stayed on his feet.
Tries to transfer it to the other end and rips a 3. Coming off his best game at Xavier. All 12 that he scored on Sunday came in the second half.
He started the season going scoreless in the first 3 games that they played. But, you know, he's got some skills. Obviously a terrific player at Columbia in the Ivies last year.
I hear there's a lot of good professors at Columbia. At least one. Booth gets fouled. That's on Harden.
Yeah, he's in my office.
On Sunday, Todd Gurley and the Rams against Drew Brees and the Saints. How good is the NFC Championship game presented by Intuit TurboTax Live going to be? Coverage starting at 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific on Fox and the Fox Sports app. You're going Saints because it's in New Orleans?
In part, yeah. And the more I think about it, as good a season as Jared Goff has had, how he go wrong with Drew Brees?
Right.
And those guys. Terrific running backs, though. We're going to have a show in the backfield.
It's 45-35 when they met up earlier this season. Maybe another shootout. Offense. Who doesn't like offense? One more for Phil Booth. 0 for 2. The guy who's one of the top 10 free throw shooters in the Big East. The lead stays at 6. Najee Marshall spinning and getting his way to the rim in the blink of an eye to finish his first bucket tonight.
Najee Marshall, probably the best athlete on this team. Outstanding rebounder, averaging about 13 points a game. And 4th in minutes. This is why this young man has to be on the floor for Xavier. He provides them with instant offense with moves like that.
And he just picked up the second foul on Cosby Roundtree. So now Cosby Roundtree and Pascal with 2 for Villanova.
Pascal has stayed on the floor with 2 for a long time. Jay Wright trusting his experience. The senior began his career at Fordham.
Well, they sure have gotten a ton out of their 2 veterans, and Pascal and Booth, both better than 20 a game in conference play. Here is Pascal rising and offline with that 3.
Not necessarily the best shot. When they explore Xavier's defense, they get higher percentage shots than just one pass and a launch.
Caslin, quick first step. He lays it in, and Xavier back to within 2. Against Jones. This time he puts it on the floor and snips a 7-0 run.
That's more like it, and Eric Pascal recognized Tyreek Jones standing straight up, not down in a defensive stance, which made him much slower moving laterally, and Pascal took full advantage.
Scruggs leaning, left it short. Will slow it down and set it up. Villanova has dominated this series. 26-5 against Xavier all time.
Well, Booth passed up a layup. He had his man beat.
Pascal able to slip by Jones again. And he's made it look like he's standing still.
Well, the big problem for Tyreek Jones, not to you know, denigrate the move by Paschal, but Tyrique Jones is standing straight up, as I mentioned before. You get down in a crouch, your left center of gravity is lower, you can move laterally quicker. You stand up, guys like Paschal go right by you.
Jones got good post position, caught it, and was able to finish on his second try.
That's where he should extend, right? What he did there. But on defense, get down. Low man wins on that one.
24. Make a 26 of the 29 for Xavier have come in the paint. Continue to pound away with Jones and Hankins. Here's Booth stepping into a three. Doesn't need much room.
And over the last several buckets, it's been senior experience, senior skill that's carried Villanova.
Marshall short, looking for the response. Jones the rebound. Jones wants it, gets it, help defense comes. No shot, foul is on the floor. That is number 6 on Villanova, so they'll inbound Xavier will on the other side of this break.
Well, Villanova's vaulted out to this 7-point lead because of the success of the two seniors. Paschal on the drive, Booth on the jumper. Nothing like experience.
Is in front of this one, 36-29, trying to stay perfect in Big East play, facing Travis Steele for the first time, who took over for Chris Mack following this past season, but a long time in the program. In fact, he was first hired as a director of ops by Sean Miller. He used to work the kind of hours where he would sleep at the arena and paid his dues to get to this spot.
Oh, there's no question about it. Travis Steele's basketball junkie. He's got tremendous intellect, particularly on the offensive end. And make no mistake about it, he's got a passion for this game, and he'll let anybody know, particularly guys on his team, about his intensity.
Designs his inbounds play that had Marshall teed up, but he couldn't hit it. And during the timeout, I know you saw it too, Len, Travis Steele was going crazy after Bo Borowski, one of the officials. Not sure exactly what it was about, but Borowski got an earful from him. Bill Booth has already hit 3 threes. Not close for that one, but it has been Booth and Paschal lately, scoring 7 straight for the Wildcats.
And Davis got to continue to go inside and occasionally out. But if somebody told you that 26 of the 29 points were scored inside, you think Xavier was having a good shooting night. But 1 of 9 from beyond the arc, and only shooting 42% from the field.
That effort from Colin Gillespie against the much bigger Jones inside. He controls now out front. Here's Paschal. He's been putting it on the floor with some pretty good success as his second half, or this first half, is wound down.
And, you know, look at his size. You don't think he's got as quick a first step as he does. And that time was Najee Marshall that almost got blown by. Marshall had to draw the foul. Had to commit the foul in order to keep Paschal from scoring.
Number 6 on Xavier. Both teams into the bonus now. There's Booth.
Again, posting up the guards. This time it's Villanova that's posting the guards. Things aren't going your way. They're not going your way. 5 guys on the glass for Xavier. No white shirts around them, and they still lose the ball.
Kind of stuff that happens in Philly to Xavier. Trying to get their first win here since 2006. Here's Gillespie. That hit every part of the rim and backboard, it seemed like, and fell through for his 3rd 3 tonight.
I like your last line, Joe. The kind of stuff that happens to Xavier in Philly.
Yeah.
That too.
Back inside they go. Scruggs couldn't hit. Samuels pulls it down. Villanova has its largest lead of the game at 10. Again, riding the long ball. They've hit 8 threes in this first half. Pascal has taken advantage of Jones on the drive several times. This time it's stolen. The shot clock turned off, and Scruggs pushes and travels.
Nice try with the pirouette, but got caught. Xavier, there's no lack of effort out here. It's just things aren't going their way. Villanova's gotten the benefit of a couple of lucky bounces. But nevertheless, you got to applaud Villanova playing their game. Even on the defensive switches inside. You talked about Gillespie a few plays ago battling Tyreek Jones. That's the kind of stuff Jalen Brunson used to do on the switch off.
Samuels almost lost it and then did. Again, the shot clock turned off. Scruggs had it knocked out of bounds, and Travis Steele can take a breath. A sigh, set something up with 8 seconds.
But you just love the way, again, Villanova will track you down. They don't give up on the play.
It's like neither team wants the final shot of the half, though. A few different opportunities. Caslen goes out. They bring a shooter and Wellage on. So here's Gooden against Joe Cremo. Quentin Gooden from the free throw line will get it to go to finish this first half and snap a 6-0 Villanova run. So that's the end of the first half. It is Villanova 39 and Xavier 31. One of the marquee matchups in the Big East in recent seasons. Mike Hill, Steve Lavin, Casey Jacobson on the other side of the break with the Jeep Grand Cherokee halftime report.
Nobody but yourself.
Cherokee back here in Philadelphia. Really entertaining first half of play between the defending national champ Villanova and the defending conference champ in Xavier. And really letting both teams kind of doing what they do, what we thought they do. For Villanova, that means shoot the ball well from outside.
Absolutely. 8 of 18 from beyond the arc. They did just enough inside the paint to draw Xavier out to guard. And then, or to draw them into guard, and once they did that, they were able to get open shots. And Xavier, you thought they were going to run Villanova out of the gym early, as guys like Zach Hankins, 12 points, 6 of 7 from the field, everything inside. But Villanova was able to answer inside and then some, and that's why they have this 8-point lead.
How about now? What are you looking forward to in the second half?
Well, first of all, I think Xavier's going to try to shore up their defense, particularly inside, and allow them to go out and challenge the Villanova three-point shooters. On the other side of it, they have to really attack Villanova inside, try to get them in foul trouble. It looked like they were going to do that initially, but then suddenly Villanova tightened up their defense.
One note about that foul trouble you mentioned, they had said that Eric Pascal had 2 fouls, but they changed that at one point during the first half to Jermaine Samuels. So Samuels and Cosby Roundtree have 2 for Villanova, which shot 52% from the field during that first half of play. Villanova trying to win its 6th in a row. Xavier looking for its 3rd straight win, also looking for its first win against a ranked opponent this season. And its first win in Philadelphia against the Wildcats since '06. Here's Eric Pascal and Phil Booth. Both those guys got it going as that first half wore on. And Booth is the first Villanova player to double figures with 11.
And that's essentially taking what the defense gives you. Obviously, Xavier wanted to tighten up, challenge Villanova beyond the arc. And if you got the ability to put it on the floor when guys get close to you, it serves you well.
Inside they went to Hankins, which they did a bunch early on in the first half, and he picked up a dozen, but was quiet over the final 8 minutes. Back into him. A contested hook shot barely hit the rim.
I think Hankins, even though he's got the ability to post people up against a team like Villanova, he's better served on the move. Off of penetration, somebody drawing defenders and then dropping it off.
Booth against Jones. Matchup that he likes. Then it turns around, gives it to Pascal. Three's off the heel. Long rebound pulled in by Marshall.
Jones much better job defensively. He got down in a crouch, defensive crouch, a little better.
Maybe a message coming from the bench. Same message you were given. Here's Caslen out of control. Hankins got it. Got fouled. Xavier trying to do something that they've done routinely lately, and that is come from behind. Came back from down 12 against Butler on Sunday. Erased a 17-point deficit in the previous game against Georgetown. Tonight they've trailed by as many as 10. Where the deficit is right now. Hankins misses the first.
In order to make comebacks, you've got to really stop the other guy in consecutive times, you know, string together a bunch of stops to be able to come back and exercise offense. I'm very curious to see if Xavier's got the ability to do that and go on a run against the Villanova team that's executing really well.
Yeah, easier said than done against this bunch. Always one of the best offensive teams in the country. Meanwhile, Xavier's missed all 4 of its free throws.
That's not happening.
No, not an equation to get an upset win. Shot clock inside of 10 as they cycle it around the key. Here's Gillespie. Down 3 to shoot. Paschal fading. Cosby Roundtree read it perfectly to get a fresh possession. Now Gillespie on the drive. Gave it up. Booth hangs. Couple opportunities there to no avail.
Cosby Roundtree doing his job. That's his role right there. Offensive rebound, create extra possessions.
7 points, 5 rebounds for Cosby Roundtree, and about 8 minutes of action. His first game, really with the reins off with that sore leg. Limited him in practice this week. Got him freshened up and ready to go, and playing a much bigger role than he did against Creighton over the weekend.
So you continually pass the ball around the horn, and there you go. You got to get it inside. That's what puts pressure on the defense.
That's Tyreek Jones with a chance for 3.
So when you continually pass it around the horn, the defense just backs up because Xavier's not known to be a good three-point shooting team. But once you get it into the heart of the defense, then there's a little anxiety created, and hence the foul and the buckets.
Tyreek Jones, who's averaging about 14 points per game in the wins, about 5 points per game in the losses. Now has 8 for Xavier, but they're now 0 for 5 at the line.
That's amazing.
Gillespie. Cosby Roundtree with another offensive rebound. It sets up Paschal, who misses off the front rim.
Doing work.
Careless turnover for Castle. Villanova tries to counter. Here's Booth in transition. Back to Paschal on the drive. Tip to Scruggs.
Xavier missing out on some opportunities here.
Man, a couple ugly turnovers. And another opportunity for the Cats. This time Bay gets fouled by Hankins. Right, I mean, they're getting the stops you're talking about.
Absolutely, but they can't execute on the other end. And it might be a little too fast. They might be better served once they get possession. Push it down the floor. If they don't have an absolute beeline to the basket, back it up and run some offense.
Saddiq Bey, freshman from Maryland. Team hit from the foul line tonight. Bey, a late addition to the recruiting class. Really, it wasn't until June that they wound up with a guy that was originally committed to NC State. Need arose with a couple surprise departures. I mean, they knew that they'd lose Bridges and Brunson, but didn't know that they'd lose DiVincenzo and Spellman. Xavier touches this one last.
That's the luck of a winner.
Right? Yeah.
To have a guy with that kind of talent available that late. Make him change his commitment.
It's also the luck of a winner that you're a lot of times going to turn over the roster like they did last year.
And still be relevant. You know, undefeated in conference after what people thought. This is one of those deals Jay Wright is just going to have to, you know, relax and teach.
Phil Booth rips a 3.
But it's because of guys like Phil Booth and Eric Paschal and the development of the young players that they've been able to go on their 5-game winning streak, 11 out of the last 13 coming into this game. They're growing. This is one good example of it. Just excellent ball movement, the ability to knock down shots.
Their senior captain, Phil Booth, who's leading all scorers with 14.
Yeah, Phil Booth, obviously red shirt senior, suffered a bunch of injuries throughout his career at Villanova, never really gave up. And we talked about it last year. Still a role player, solid defender, a good assist man who can put the ball in the basket. This year has been called upon to score, and he has really come through for Villanova from the floor, knocking down shots, averaging about 18 points a game.
Two-time team captain. Leadership so important for them, especially on an inexperienced team like this. The least experienced team they've had at Villanova in a long time.
And he's stepped up big time when he's had to over the last 3 games.
There's Paul Scruggs, who Xavier badly needs to get going. Coming off a 23-point game. Their leading scorer on the season. That's just his second bucket tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a mystery on how to get back when you're given opportunities. And let's face it, Xavier's gotten more shots. They've had more possessions than Villanova. You've got to take advantage of it. That's what Travis Steele expects.
Booth, good vision to find Cosby Roundtree. He's called for his 3rd foul. This one to the offensive variety. The other 16 timeout. Villanova and Xavier, number 22 Wildcats, up by 9. Villanova and Xavier, teams that have won the last 5 Big East titles. 9-point game early on in the second half. You look around the Big East. Marcus Howard, maybe the leading candidate right now for Big East Player of the Year. Although Shamori Pons has shown how important he's been for St. John's, and maybe we're headed for another tight one. More than half of the games in the conference so far have been decided by 6 or fewer.
Well, I love the competitiveness of the Big East. That's what just makes it fun. And when you talk about competitiveness, 2 of the leading candidates, Marcus Howard, I think right now has the edge. There's no question about it. I think you can kind of slot Phil Booth in. It all comes down to teams that win, best player on the best team. But among those 3 guys, with Marcus Howard in the lead, I think that's the battle of Player of the Year thus far.
Jalen Brunson a year ago from Villanova. Josh Hart 2 years ago. Can they make it 3 straight years for the conference Player of the Year? Here's Quentin Gooden. Inside, kicked it out for an open 3 that's buried by Najee Marshall.
You see, that looked a lot better than when they were helter-skelter up and down the floor in transition. If you don't have a clear path to the basket, do what they just did out of the timeout. Set up a play and run something. They're much more efficient that way.
And Scruggs goes for the steal. Heaves it back inbounds. Jones got his hand on it. They call it over and back. And it will be Villanova ball. Travis Steele confounded by the decision. They say that it was Xavier possession enough where it would justify being called a backcourt violation on that heave.
And that's what it would have to be, possession right there. Possession by grabbing it and tossing it back with both hands.
Is that enough to justify possession in your opinion?
Yeah. Okay. He was able to make the pass. And it wasn't a swipe at the ball. It wasn't a bat of the ball. Both hands, and he passed it backwards.
It seems like anytime Villanova starts to pull away, Xavier's got some kind of answer to hang around. And that's not something they've done typically against Villanova, hang around. I mean, even in the conference championship season last year, their 2 losses came by an average of 20. Gillespie thought about it. Booth will take it. Way short. Scruggs comes out of the mess with it. Jones wanted it inside. Instead out of the corner. Welledge knocks down the 3 and brings Xavier back to within a possession.
Boy, and it's about time for Ryan Welledge, who's a pretty good 3-point shooter, but suffered up until now. That was a huge one.
This weekend, you could have conquered that mountain of laundry. But instead, you're conquering this. Getting out of your comfort zone. It's possible in the all-wheel drive Kona, part of the Hyundai SUV family.
For a limited time, get the great value of 2 medium one-topping pizzas for just $6 each when you buy 2. That's more pizza for more people you like for less. That's more better. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Ryan Wellich, who had missed each of his last 9 threes, finally connects on one here. And it's helped Xavier go on an 8-0 run.
Good ball movement around the horn, forcing the Villanova defense to scramble. Couldn't catch up to Wellich.
Like you said, though, it's going to start on the defensive end, and whether it's been induced by Xavier or just Villanova going cold, the Cats won for their last 8.
And one thing that is happening that's proven, at least to something that Travis Steele had predicted, was that he believed they were going to get more possessions. And obviously with more possessions, that's what they need to score, because they're not an outstanding shooting team. Question is, when you get those possessions, what do you do with them?
Right. The equation tonight has been to go inside. Wellich 3, a rare thing for Xavier tonight. And for much of the year, he's not shooting the ball like they did last year.
Xavier back in the zone. Gillespie, nice job getting into the teeth of it.
Pascal rises over it and is offline. It's an offensive rebound for Samuels, and able to throw it off Wellich.
Well, even off penetration, the miss, and then Samuels obviously presence of mind to turn in the air and get it off the defender.
Cosby-Archer is wide open and kicked by Jones.
Harry Jones doing what he's supposed to do. When you're playing the inbounder underneath the basket, protect the basket. Your back should be angled so it protects anybody cutting to the basket with the ball being delivered to him.
If he did, nobody was there. Cosby-Archer had nobody near him. Villanova usually so efficient on the offensive end. 1 for 9 over the last few minutes. Here's Booth. Now Pascal in the middle of the zone. Samuels bounces it off of Jones.
Samuels needs to turn and face the basket and force the defender to make a decision. That time, he just let everybody in the gym know he was going to pass that ball.
He'll come out. Joe Cremo comes on. And he'll launch away and get his own miss. Gillespie got it. His 4th triple tonight. Left alone. Down to the floor for the loose ball. They call a tie-up that'll keep it on this end.
Well, this is the best opportunity for a 3. Offensive rebound. Cremo with the good hustle. Usually the shooter knows exactly where the ball is coming. First of all, he knows it's off, and usually knows where it's going to.
Gillespie hit his 4th one tonight. Villanova's 10th as a team. Here's Marshall, quick step into the lane over Booth.
Now Najee Marshall, I'm talking about 6'7" guard. They got him listed as a forward, but he's bringing the ball up. He's doing everything a guard should do. And, you know, his ability to raise up over 6'3" Phil Booth. He's going to have to do something about that.
A long 3, and Gooden picks up a bad foul, sending Phil Booth to the line. Well, that was like a 27-footer. Gooden still fouled it.
Najee Marshall got a little close. Travis Steele on the side was letting the official know he kicked his foot out. We couldn't see it there.
Teams tonight combined 1 for 10 at the line. Gosh, I was trying to jinx him the other way, and it didn't work.
My goodness.
Phil Booth, who's top 10 in the conference at the foul line, is 0 for 3 himself. What's going on, Len?
1 for 12. Are you kidding me?
No.
I think I'm serious. I think I could shoot 1 for 12 with my eyes closed.
I guarantee he makes this one. I've never been more nervous in my broadcasting career. It was only a matter of time. 5-point game.
That just shows you that's in their heads.
Yeah. Cosby Roundtree just got called for his 4th.
Bad foul. Recognizing that Tyreek Jones is tough in the paint, but he was about 2 feet off the paint at that time, and you got to recognize that.
That's a big deal, Len. 4 fouls on Cosby Roundtree with 13 minutes left still.
He knows it, too. Look at him. Wishes he could take that one back.
Biggest concern for Jay Wright tonight, Xavier's size. Without one of his top bigs, as Marshall threw one up there that wouldn't go. It was cleared by Samuels.
Barking out a play.
Booth goes by Jones. And an offensive foul.
I'm not sure with all the commotion after Jay Wright called out a play, that's exactly what he was calling. But Phil Booth saw something, drove by his man. Quentin Gooden steps in and takes the charge. He must have been outside a restricted area. The official's right on top of it.
You mean he didn't send in the go 1-on-3 call? Jones able to corral it in traffic. Got fouled. Who do they get for this one? They get Pascal. Only his 2nd. Again, they called a 2nd on Pascal early on in the first half, but later changed that to Jermaine Samuels. So there's number 2 right there for Pascal.
I remember the foul on Cosby Roundtree. He had Jones, like I said, about 2-3 feet off of the paint where he's not going to hurt you. Whoever's guarding him now cannot allow him to set up with 2 feet in the paint, because that's when it becomes a problem. Got to do your work early. Nudge him out somehow.
Len, could we have back-to-back made free throws? Hicks have flown in Philadelphia. Tyreek Jones has moved into double figures to move the Musketeers back to within 3. Pascal got fouled by Jones. And a 3-point game. We mentioned Tyreek Jones typically plays well when his mom Winnie is in attendance. She made the trip down from Bloomfield, Connecticut tonight and loving it. Watching X make things tough on number 22. Xavier's got it down to 3. Let's go inside their huddle with Travis Steele.
We got to dominate that glass. Those 50-50 balls. They can't get any. They can't get any. That's shut off. We can't get any more.
Well, rebounds are tied, 27-27, although Xavier has 11 offensive rebounds and Villanova's 9. You know, Xavier, as we mentioned, big and physical, and they've got to be able to assert themselves now against a smaller team, particularly the guards, as I mentioned before. The Xavier guards have a size advantage over those from Villanova, and they're the ones who have to help with the rebounding.
How about on this end, Len? I mean, Villanova in the first half above 50%, just 25% since the break. Gillespie with a clean look, can't hit, rebound Jones.
I think it's a combination of Xavier committed to defense, challenging shots, you know, putting more pressure on the ball, and then maybe settling a little too much for the 3.
There's Gooden putting the pressure on. That is the 7th foul on Villanova, so 1-1 coming for Quentin Gooden. Product of their aggressive attack all night. They've been pounding the ball inside, either with the entry passes or the drives. Comes Primo replacing Sadiq Bey.
Villanova, you ask why they're having difficulty on the other end. 2 of 8 from beyond the arc, 3 of 12 total. Just a lot of shots and imbalance in their offense as opposed. through the first half, and they shot 52% from the field, including 44%, 8 of 18 from beyond the arc.
Gooden earns his second and has a chance to bring Xavier to within 1. They have been owned by Villanova throughout the years. Try to pull an upset tonight against the defending national champ. They're within 1 with 11.5 left in Philly.
I think the crowd has that sense of urgency as well.
Villanova trying to win its 6th in a row. Getting things sorted out here in this season after losing 4 players to the NBA draft. Phil Booth, one of the leaders, turning the corner, into the lane, working against Marshall. Dumped it off to Samuels, who found Gillespie, and he knocked down his 5th three.
Good decision making. You saw Phil Booth try to take Marshall down low, and obviously Marshall with 5 inches on him. But bringing the ball inside forced the defense to contract and gave Gillespie a better look.
Scruggs knocks down a 3 to respond. On to the 4th 3 tonight for Xavier. Back to a 1-point game.
And that play for Xavier was just a confidence builder.
Gillespie goes by Marshall. Now it's Cremo. Xavier more solid defense. Shot clock inside at 10. Booth against Scruggs. Phil Booth lost the handle. Found Pascal. Now Samuels. He fills it up from 3.
That's about as unlikely as it gets. Jermaine Samuels can knock shots down 29%.
Marshall couldn't get it. It just seems like through the years, Villanova always has an answer. Cremo had a tap from behind, able to get it back. Now Booth will try. Oh my goodness, it continues to go right for Villanova. They are charmed.
That's an understatement on those rims.
Over the top for Jones. Gillespie got to the loose ball for a moment. Up top, Jones couldn't get it. Pascal pulls it out of the mess. Up ahead, Samuels. Defense hustles back to no avail. After Xavier gets to within 1, Villanova rips off 8 straight.
Villanova with just clean living right here. Booth loses control, but Samuel, the 29% three-point shooter, knocks it down. And then you talk about, you know, having some kind rims. That's as nice as they can get. But here, this is just pushing the ball up the floor, rebounding, fast break opportunity. Villanova is now starting to kick it into gear. And Travis Steele asking for why they didn't get a foul on the other end with Najee Marshall, but he's got to find a way to light a fire under his team.
With 8:55 left to go, this was 51-50. And it seemed like Xavier had all the momentum, but then a couple 3 balls, a couple turnovers. And Villanova's taking command again. Trying to get their 6th consecutive win. Trying to start Big East play 5-0, but on unbeaten left in conference play.
Coming out of the huddle, Villanova goes to the zone right now. Just essentially to change up on Xavier.
Let's kick ball.
And try to throw a wrench in what he thinks Travis Steele is talking about in their huddle.
Game of chess.
I suspect they'll go back to man in this possession.
Marshall in the middle of that zone, able to finish with the left hand to snap the one.
That looked like a total confusion by Villanova, because everybody started looking at each other. It wasn't even a challenge to that shot, to the pass or the shot. And now they're looking over to the bench again. And this is what happens, even though you got some veterans out there, this is what happens with a relatively young team.
Paschal, no fear. Got fouled by Jones. It's the second time they fouled Villanova shooting a 3 tonight. They picked the wrong guys to foul. First it was Booth, and now it's Paschal. 78% foul shooter.
Paschal's first time at the line. And the bug hadn't bitten him,
Right.
as it has his teammates and actually Xavier as well.
Averaging better than 20 per game in Big East play. These are his first 2 points of the second half. He's got 9 total tonight.
And again, when you talk about Eric Paschal, as we have said about Phil Booth, you know, these guys are the seniors, the leaders on this team. As they become more assertive, more aggressive, the younger players in their development, they start to follow suit.
11-2 run, back to double digits for Villanova. Tough spot here for Scruggs. And a timeout. They trapped him as he crossed half court. Villanova back in command. Inside of 8 left in Philly. By 10, 7:58 left to go. A college basketball doubleheader on Fox tomorrow. First in the Big Ten, the 208th meeting between Indiana and Purdue. And then St. John's looking for its first NCAA tournament trip under Chris Mullen. Taking on Butler, all tipping off at 1:30 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Here's how Howie Schwab sees it out of the Big East right now. He's got 4 teams in the field. He's got Villanova as a 5 seed. We mentioned St. John's playing tomorrow, has them slotted in at a 9 seed.
Seton Hall at a 10 seed. I mean, they've stumbled, but I think they're still in this hunt simply because of wins against Kentucky as well as Maryland. And Maryland on the road, too. They gave them a quality quad 1 win. Both of them, actually.
Maryland, another win tonight before us against Ohio State. That's 7 straight going into that matchup in East Lansing on FS1 Monday night. Najee Marshall threw it up there, wouldn't hit. And Villanova comes out with it.
Maryland, Anthony Cowan Jr. and Bruno Fernando pacing that. Fernando with a double-double. Cowan, 27 points. Terps are rolling.
This one not a lot of people saw coming. One of the youngest teams in the country. Eric Paschal, a fadeaway. That's pretty.
That's hard, too. He did a terrific job on that baseline. And elevate, twisting in the air, but he squared up nicely.
13-2 run for Villanova, and now its largest lead of the night. Gooden trying to cut into it, and does.
We said it was a game of runs, and obviously Villanova, you know, their biggest run was 10-0 in the first half, but they've gone on a nice run here in the second half. As you mentioned, they were up 1, and suddenly they were up 9. Xavier's got to find a way to string together some stops if they're going to get back on the ball.
Villanova's hit 5 shots in a row. Ended with Paschal's jumper. Xavier gets 1 stop. Marshall leaving it for Scruggs. He'll fire an NBA 3.
So you can't do it. You got to come down and score. You can't do it with 1 pass and a shot. You got to think time and score, even though Scruggs is 46% three-point shooter. He wasn't squared up.
Cremo. Samuels, offensive rebound. He'll tee up Gillespie, who hits his 6th 3 tonight.
Well, Jermaine Samuels, you talk about athleticism and strength combined. Demonstrated there to keep that one alive.
Jones rolling to the bucket. Got crunched by Cremo. More of the same for Villanova tonight, Len. 14 threes.
The perfect time to knock down a three. Offensive rebound, kick it out. Look at all the black shirts that were in the paint. And obviously had to come out. Najee Marshall tried to come out and challenge, but too late.
I think, what, 3 or 4 of those 14 threes tonight have come directly off of a miss and an offensive rebound.
And that's opportunistic, and that's what been one of the keys to Villanova's success, taking advantage of the opportunities they're given or the ones that they make.
11 tonight for Tyreek Jones, close to a double-double. 11 points, 7 rebounds. Junior out of Bloomfield, Connecticut. Tied with Zach Hankins with 12 to lead Xavier. As Mom continues to love it. Another good performance in front of Mom. Typically they talk on the phone right before the game, but she's not able to make it. Able to do it in person tonight.
You saw the full court pressure by Xavier. They've got to find a way to create even more possessions right now. Turnovers or speed Villanova up.
6 turnovers from Villanova tonight. Booth showing off all the skills there. The handles and then the mid-range pull-up.
What a luxury to have go-to guys like Phil Booth and Eric Paschal. Need a bucket, they've got the ability to break their man down, break down the defense.
He's got 20 now. Marshall followed by Saddiq Bey.
Yeah, just taking your time, changing speeds, dazzling them with the handle, and hurting their feelings with the jumper.
2 shots for Marshall. Becomes the 3rd Musketeer into double figures. Samuels and Gillespie replacing Cremo and Bey. Still plenty of time. 5:07 left. And again, Xavier's made a habit out of coming from behind. Erased 12-point deficit Sunday against Butler. Came back from down 17 the game before against Georgetown. Hankins continues to sit. He scored the first 12 of the first 20 for Xavier. Nothing since.
But he got victimized on the defensive end, and I think that's what Travis Steele is looking at.
Cosby Roundtree as they break the press easily.
Not only that, but no contest on the back line. Tyreek Jones, with 2 personals, just didn't go after it.
Whoa, tried to thunder down an offensive rebound, but it's off the iron and over to Villanova.
I mean, this is picture perfect. Jones nowhere to be found. He's the last line of defense. He's got to be there between the basket and the opponent.
It's not like he's in foul trouble. He only has 2 with 5 minutes left.
I had to check to make sure. Is he a foul or something?
Cremo. Scruggs. Outside to Marshall. Paschal clears it.
And Villanova now putting down the hammer. Solid defense. 1 shot and out. And then they'll come on the other end and milk some clock.
Put it in their seniors' hands. Booth goes by good. The other senior, Paschal, clears it and will have a chance at a 3-point play as the lead grows to the largest tonight.
And right there, Eric Paschal just out-hustled the complete Xavier front line. There's the miss. Paschal doesn't take it for granted. He owns the glass right now.
.59 Villanova. So we welcome him back to Philadelphia. Oh, he's got good moves. He's got Len Elmore moves.
You see me dance.
Jeep stat comparison. We talked early on about Villanova's reliance on the three. Typically get about 40% of their points from three. Tonight it's been even higher than that. They've hit 14 of them. And this typically has been the equation when these two teams have gotten together.
Yeah, Villanova just finds a way to take what the defense gives them. And in this situation, we've seen an awful lot of penetrate, kick. Seen an awful lot of the ball going to play inside out. Wide open jump shooters. And then when Xavier decides they want to push up on the ball handler, you got guys like Booth and Pascal particularly who just drive right around him.
Here's Good trying to beat the pressure. Right in Jones. Extra pass to Marshall. Got fouled. So Naji Marshall back to his region. It's out of Atlantic City, New Jersey. Finally healthy for Xavier. I mean, not just healthy, but not coming out of the game. This is going to be the fourth game in a row where Naji Marshall doesn't get a rest. That's after dealing with some nagging back issues. Sophomore makes both and has 13 tonight.
Again, one of the league leaders in minutes played. I mean, he provides so much, it's hard to put him out of the game.
Well, it's a tough angle to make that call from.
Yeah. It's essentially where you were, and Primo, as soon as he kind of left his feet to go over, you got to establish yourself in the front court, then catch the ball. Otherwise, the officials are looking at where you were, which before he caught it, his feet were in the backcourt.
Jones backing in on Cosby Roundtree, who he knows has 4 fouls, and so muscles him up and brings it back to 11 with 3:15 to go. But they got to have something here. Got to generate some kind of turnover. Foul on Good.
Phil Booth 1 of 5 from the free throw line, although they're not necessarily.
This is the last one to get there. Yep, number 7 coming up next. Put him at the line from here on out. About to clean the Pascal, and Xavier backs off. And then they turn it back up, and Marshall fouls him.
Seems like both teams are shaking off the bad free throw streak. I don't know. I think that foul was kind of a wish that it starts up again.
Villanova started 1 for 6 at the line. They've hit 5 of their last 6. Part of that's been putting this guy at the line. This is perfect 5 for 5.
Yeah, we mentioned Phil Booth. You got to give Eric Pascal equal billing as a go-to guy. It makes Villanova so tough because of his versatility. He can handle the ball against the pressure. He can post you up. He can drive, and he can shoot the 3.
So tonight they've gotten 20 from Booth. They've gotten 17 from Pascal. But what they've also gotten is a third source with Colin Gillespie going off for 18. Jones able to get by for the stop.
Good use of the body by Tariq Jones to get the angle.
And they finally generate a turnover off of the press. Kesslin drives. His runner won't go. Unable to take advantage.
Take a look at who the ball was off, but
yeah, looks like Marshall.
It's hard to see from him. Guy swatting at the ball. That's a tough call for the official.
Joe Primo on a afraid to fire away and knock down the 15th three tonight for the Wildcats. Marshall with an air ball into the hands of Jones, who gets blocked. Numbers for the Cats. Gillespie for Cosby Roundtree. And they've pulled away, extending the lead to 16.
Yeah, the route is on. You didn't see Villanova backing it out, trying to work any clock. They're on full attack.
Jones, who has a double-double now, will head to the line with a chance for 2 more. Again, Len, Villanova finding a way. Say it tonight. You can say it in the bigger picture this year. Finding a way to right the ship after the relatively tough start, losing back-to-back games twice in non-conference play. But here they are. They're going to be 5-0 to open the conference schedule.
And early in the season, I mean, they really could have literally taken their heart and their confidence when they not only got throttled by Michigan, then they lose to a Furman team. It's not a bad team, but
it's Furman.
Shouldn't be coming in to beating Villanova at their place.
Well, Villanova hadn't lost back-to-back games in 5 years, and then they lost back-to-back games twice before Christmas. That's a turnover for Pascal. Time now for our game reset, sponsored by SoFi. Get your money right. Villanova 15 3-balls tonight. Early on, paint points was a story for Xavier, but Villanova did a pretty good job of limiting that here in the second half.
Yeah, early it looked like Xavier was going to stay with them because they were executing really well in the paint, but Villanova with ball pressure, a little toughness down low, making a couple of adjustments.
Nice deal for good back-to-back turnovers from Villanova. Jones able to follow it, and a chance at a 3-point play.
There's still a little life in the Musketeers. You know, the consistency is what was lacking throughout this game. There's a game of runs, and there were times when Xavier would execute flawlessly, and there were other times when it looked like, you know, they had lapses.
Cosby Roundtree has fouled out. Jones with 18 points and 11 rebounds. Has a free throw coming here. Quite a line for him tonight. 19 points, 11 boards. And that 19 ties a career high.
Again, he's a tough customer down low, very physical, and that's a problem that Villanova has to find an answer to, although
they're just able to break it in time.
Just weren't consistent enough.
Right. And you got to beat a team like Villanova. Phil Booth, a game-high 22.
That was a playground clinic right there. Just me and you, said Phil Booth. One-on-one.
Back inside to Jones. Here's Kesselin. He got blocked. Second opportunity and a foul. Puts Jones back on the line. Here's what's coming up for Villanova. They'll head to Hinkle Fieldhouse on Tuesday. Never easy. Back here for Seton Hall. They'll match up at Marquette February 9th on Fox. That's going to be fun to watch. You think those are the top 2 teams in the conference at this point, Villanova and Marquette? Have you seen enough to say that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, for the Musketeers, they will host Providence and Marquette before a quick road trip through Georgetown and Creighton.
But when you talk about the top 2 teams, I think that before long, you're going to hear something from St. John's and possibly Providence.
New career high tonight for Tyreek Jones, 21 points and 12 rebounds. Although barring a miracle, it's going to come on a losing effort. Javon Quinterly will head to the line. This will be Villanova's 6th consecutive win. Put them at 5-0 in the conference. It'll drop Xavier to 3-3. You've got Villanova, then Marquette, and then a big group of teams all kind of jockeying for seeding as this conference schedule rolls on.
Yeah, but we showed the graphic before. So many close games in the Big East. You know, the quality of team and talent is not that far apart. And it really comes down to who's able to execute on a very consistent basis. And right now, Villanova is that team.
Freshman guard Quinterly, his first 2 points tonight. Well, Xavier was able to cut this down to 1 on a couple of occasions early on in this second half. Gooden's 3 falls. It seems like every time they were knocking on the door, Villanova had an answer. And more often than not, that came in the form of a 3. Sure what a timeout is for here. They're going to review whether or not Gooden's foot was on the line. Xavier's out of timeouts. Perhaps checking the time. That right foot's on the NBA line, though. Just seeing how much time should be left. 19.6 looks right. We're going to get an explanation here. So they think there has been a clock malfunction. Not sure exactly where that came. You saw that the shot clock was turned off. But that's because the game clock is where it is. And it looked like the clock is appropriately put at 19.6 when the ball went through. Play on, Len.
10-point lead with 19.6 and 6 seconds left. It's going to make a difference.
Yeah, I sense your sarcasm.
But you got to get it right. You got to get in the habit of staying right.
There's a home run throw. Sadiq Bey juggled it and lost it. They'll pull it out and run the final seconds off of this one. A 6th straight win, but it wasn't easy. Xavier is right there much of the way. Villanova pulls away and moves to 14-4 and 5-0 in the Big East.
Well, again, we talked about Villanova's young player development. Certainly they had to be propped up by their 2 go-to guys, Phil Booth and Eric Paschal, but you've seen some flashes from some of the younger players, and Xavier's not that far away.
Booth finishes with 22 tonight to improve Villanova's record to this. Marquette knocking on the door at 4-1. They'll meet up in a couple of weeks on Fox. Xavier falls into that middle of the pack, which is very crowded, sitting at 3-3. 85-75 the final score for Len Elmore. The rest of our crew, Joe Davis saying so long from Philadelphia. We go to Mike Hill in Los Angeles.
All right, thanks so much. And I am joined in studio by Casey Jacobson and Steve Lavin. No scrubs.